This one particularly shocked me because I wasn't expecting it absolutely in the slightest. Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to Francesca's Books. My name is Francesca, these are my books, and here we talk about all things thriller books. And today we're going to be talking about plot twists. And I'm not talking about plot twists that were like, yeah, that was a really good book, like really enjoyed that, definitely would recommend it. I'm talking about the plot twists. The best plot twists. So I've picked out 15 books with the most jaw-dropping plot twists that I've ever read out of the 300-ish thriller books I've read. Some books in this list are ones that I've mentioned before on my channel and are ones that we all know and love, but there are quite a few that I don't really talk about because maybe the rest of the book wasn't to my taste, but the twist, twist. So maybe if you're looking to get out of a reading slump or you want something to like really kickstart your reading again, then I would check these out. Before we dive in, if you want exclusive access to my channel and every single video 24 hours in advance and have a hand in helping me choose what I read next, then don't forget to join my channel. As always, if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on if you want all the best thriller book recommendations coming your way. I'm your go-to thriller girly. I will literally never disappoint you. So I thought I would just start with it, get that elephant in the room out of the way. This is probably the #1 psychological thriller twist amongst the book community, and of course it is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Now people do have mixed opinions on this book, and I feel like because it's so popular and was literally one of the it girls basically across all platforms for a good maybe like 12 months, you're gonna have people that don't like it, but overall this is a really solid thriller. Now it depends how many thriller books you read to whether you will see this twist coming or not. I personally read this at the start of my reading journey, which meant that I had absolutely no idea. I remember I was on holiday, got to the last 20 pages and everyone was like grabbing me, we need to go for lunch, and I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. Kept reading, and this kind of like changed my opinion on thriller books. And maybe that's why I hold it in such high regard, but if you haven't read this, no matter what part of your thriller journey you are at, I would recommend picking it up. So this follows a woman who is a painter. She's living a relatively normal life until one day she supposedly, her husband, we don't know if she did or didn't do it, that's kind of half the thing. But then she doesn't say a single word. She is completely mute. She refuses to talk about the situation and hasn't said a single word since the event. Then we have Theo, who is a psychiatrist who is determined to be the one who's going to make her speak. So since she isn't talking, you're probably thinking, well, how do we get her point of view, maybe? So she is telling her story in diary entries, and then we get the main point of view from Theo. So this is like a really well done dual timeline, dual point of view that I very much enjoyed. The rest of these are in absolutely no particular order. They're not like ranked in like explosiveness or ranked even necessarily in terms of my favorites. So we'll dive into the rest now, and the next book I'm going to talk to you about is The Last Passenger by Will Dean. Every time I talk about this book, I do feel like it gets quite a controversial reaction because this is one of those twists that you either love it or hate it. I, of course, loved it. I gave this book 5-star. This was the first time I'd ever seen a twist like this been done, and just it was so fresh and like new. I just couldn't help but love it. If you're a more seasoned thriller reader than me, maybe some of you out there are, again, I don't know, maybe you might see this. I think if I'd read books similar to this, I would have probably had more of a clue where it was going, but at the time I hadn't, and absolutely loved it. So this follows Kaz, who boards a cruise ship from Ireland to New York. She's having a lovely first night on board with her partner. They go for dinner, they head up to bed after they've had a lovely evening, and then the next day when she wakes up, her partner isn't there. She steps out into the shared space of the cruise and literally no one else is there. She thinks, maybe there's a captain. Not there. So she quickly realises she's the only person aboard this cruise ship. There is no one even steering it. And for me, that was just brilliant. So that happens in the first 15 pages of this book, and after it, the remaining 350 whatever, it goes down. This was really tense. Next up is I Let You Go by Claire Mackintosh, and this one is fantastic for like a midway plot twist. So there are some plot twists at the end, as there always are in Claire Mackintosh books. She never fails to give like a really satisfying ending, but there's a twist in this at a mid part of the narrative. I won't say when in case you're gonna go and read it. This one particularly shocked me because I wasn't expecting it absolutely in the slightest. We were still really like building the tension. It wasn't up to the point where I felt like there's going to be a reveal yet, so I was just sat there like what? So this follows a woman called Jenna who witnesses a 5-year-old being unalived in a hit and run right in front of her. She decides, I literally can't cope with this, I cannot take this, and she basically goes to the Welsh coast to try and just like seek some peace. She tries to just live off the grid a bit and just try and enjoy what's little of her life that she has remaining, because obviously she is heartbroken. Meanwhile, there is a police investigation going on in Bristol where all of this went down, and it is worth noting this is also told from a detective point of view as well as like Jenna's main story, and this is one of the first books that changed like my opinion on detective stories. Claire showed me that crime thrillers can actually be done well. Before I read this, I was just not a fan. I wouldn't even go near it. I kind of picked this up not knowing, honestly, but I was enjoying it so much, and the detectives in this are like really well-rounded. They've kind of got their own backstories, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you've watched probably any other video on my channel, this one does come up a lot, but it is just so worth the hype. So next is very much a love it or hate it twist. It is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and if you've already read this and know the twist, I mean, even if you hated it, you've got to admit it was good. Like, it was a good twist. Like, you didn't see it. It completely came out of left field, whether you liked it or not. So this follows a recovering alcoholic who resides at her lake house. She decides she's going to go again and seek some peace. She's going to get off the drinking and she's just going to start out again. But she is an actress, so she's quite well known, and that's why she has to go to this like remote location. Then she's at the lake and meets another actress in a neighbouring lake house, and they kind of like build some sort of like friendship. So they'll go over to each other's houses and like chat on the porch, and it's all very nice, and you're thinking, wow, what a lovely friendship forming. Until one day our female main character is looking out of her lake house and sees some really suspicious activity going on in her new friend's place. She's like, I think I have to check this out. And it completely escalates from there. But what I will say about Riley Sager's books is they're always so atmospheric. Like, you feel like you're by this lake. You feel like you're in this like remote location. He just has a real way with building the scene, I think. Next up is Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. And this is such an underrated read. Like, I see nobody talking about this. And the twist was just like, sorry? Like, I literally cannot even tell you how shocked I was by this book. So this follows our male main character, and 12 years ago his girlfriend went missing. He was absolutely devastated, as you can imagine, and over that time he started to build like a friendship with her sister and eventually ended up going out with her, and then they started a family. Now 12 years later there has been a sighting of the original girlfriend. So as you can imagine, he becomes absolutely obsessed with seeing if it actually was her or not, and kind of like laying traps. They get like weird things in the mail, like it's all very like spooky, like creepy. And then the story goes from there as to whether she actually has been sighted, what her sister thinks about all this. It's quite intense, and I feel like the ending of this like really had a great payoff. Like, if you maybe were reading this and thinking, I'm not sure where this is going, like I don't know, this is one you have to finish to appreciate. So next is a book that I didn't rate super highly, but I have to say the twist was incredible. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or a 4, so still like a good thriller book, not 5 territory where the rest of most of these books are, but it was really rewarding in terms of its twist. So it is The Trap by Catherine Ryan Howard. I hadn't actually read anything else by this author. This was just one that I kept seeing about 6 months ago. A lot of people reading and people saying they were blown away by the twist, and I do agree. So this opens with a woman who is hitchhiking on the side of the road, and she gets picked up by this really suspicious looking guy, and she's thinking, oh my god, I've literally had it here. Until you realise that she is doing it on purpose to try and hunt the way that her sister went missing and find her. Not sure if that was super clear. So the sister was taken in this exact way, and when she realises this guy's not going to do that, she gets out, she tries again tomorrow until she tracks him down. Now I can't really say much more about this, that is kind of like the first few pages, but if I say more it kind of will allude to where this is going, but I just have to say it was really good. It was quite good. Next up we've got the king of consistent twists, and that is What Lies Between Us by John Marrs. This book is just twist. Like, it just doesn't stop. So maybe like every 10 chapters or so, you're gonna get another big reveal. This follows a middle-aged daughter and her mum who are living in the same house, and the daughter has the mum chained up in the attic, and the mum is just like, yeah, okay, yeah, ready to put my chains on, like just absolutely accepting this situation, and you're thinking, sorry, why, how, what? And it is the story of like their relationship unfolding. This is just like extremely toxic. Goes without saying, the whole thing is toxic. The relationships these women have with other people, toxic. All of it is just like Cue Toxic by Britney Spears. And then not only did this have like loads of twists throughout, the ending as well was just as explosive. It was brilliant. Pile number 2 incoming. Next up is a really recent release which I absolutely loved, and it is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, and the twist in this was like really different to the other books that I've talked about so far. It was really emotional, moving, powerful, and honestly just wonderful, even though everyone in this book was completely morally grey. So it follows our male main character, Grady, who is a writer, and his wife went missing. She literally was on the phone to him one day and then she just stopped talking. She was in the car. He went to go and try and find her, thinking that she'd crashed the car, and she just wasn't there. He kind of has to move on with his life, and his agent, as he's an author, decides he should probably go to somewhere remote and try and like work on his manuscript and just publish something that's worth publishing. So he's on this tiny island just off the coast of Scotland when he thinks he sees her. This one had so much more of an impact on me than most thriller books do. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Alice Feeney's writing in this, top notch. Most people say that this is her best book yet, and I think I do have to agree with them. The way it just unfolded and the actual prose of her writing, you can tell that this is not her first rodeo, and she's really put her soul into this one, and it still was absolutely satisfactory with its plot twist at the end. Way more than satisfactory. And how gorgeous is this book, okay? When I wrap up at the end of this year, this is definitely going to be my favourite cover. I mean, can you see how it's like foiled here? This is actually the proof I got this early. Oh. Gorgeous. Next up, we're moving back to controversial plot twists, but I really enjoyed this. Like, this is one that I get quite a lot of hate for still recommending, but I love it. Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. The only other Lucy Foley book I've read is The Midnight Feast, and I did not like that one. So if people feel how they do about that one, like they do about this one, I understand why you're not gonna like it. It's gonna give bad vibes. You're gonna see me recommending it and be like, what? Because this one, even though the main character was called Francesca, I still couldn't get on board with it. But The Paris Apartment, first book I read by Lucy Foley, follows this woman who goes to Paris to visit her brother. She's a bit down and out and needs somewhere to stay for a while, and he has this really nice apartment in central Paris. So when she makes the journey to go and see him and he's not there, she's thinking, what is happening? And then he just doesn't turn up. So she kind of goes on this journey to find out, where is he, what is happening, and all the meantime, all the neighbours are super sus. She's like, where has he even moved to her? This was another twist that I really enjoyed because I hadn't seen it being done. It was really, really good. The way this unfolded, this was like a proper jaw drop moment. Like some twists you kind of like build up, few twists. This was like a bam! I feel like if you're going to visit France over the summer as well, this is probably a good one to take with you because it is very atmospheric. You feel like you're there in this scene. Next up is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekerlak, and this one was so good. It had the best romantic subplot probably I've ever read. It was like part of the thriller but not part of the thriller, and I just knew it was coming and I really loved it. But the main part of this story is a living nanny called Mallory, and she goes to look after this really troubled child called Teddy, and he's drawing these like really strange pictures as soon as she gets there, and she's thinking, what have I let myself into here? I mean, come on. So she takes these drawings to the parents and they're like, oh yeah, it's fine, like don't worry. But when she asks him, he's like, oh, I didn't draw that. So she just kind of accepts this is what is happening. She's like, this is my job, just do my job. Until then the pictures start getting like more and more sophisticated, like this. And then she's like, no, we need to do something here. I would recommend getting a physical copy of this so you can like enjoy the drawings. In the Kindle version, I'm not sure if they're actually on the Kindle, but either way, it's quite cool to like kind of like go back and refer to them. I quite like it. Next up is by an author who I don't talk about that much, but whose books I do actually really enjoy, and it is Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena. This is my favourite Shari LaPena book for its twist and just for the whole book. So it follows this guy who's having an affair. He goes and sees her in this really like dodgy motel, and she basically calls it off. She's like, I can't do this anymore, like we're not doing this. And he is pissed. He is like, what do you mean? Like, I love you, I'm gonna leave my wife, blah, 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 blah. So when he gets home and his 9-year-old daughter is the only one there, he takes it out on her, he completely loses his temper, and of course she's very sad. Next thing, she's gone missing. This is one of those books where like the whole town wants to get involved, like everyone on the street, like you know them, and they're trying to help, or they're trying to hinder, are they trying to support, are they the problem, like you don't know. It's very like small town domestic drama. It's also giving like rich people drama as well, because I feel like money is not a problem to these people in this book. Like they live in a really nice neighborhood, they're giving out like thousands in cash rewards, like that's not the issue. Of course, these are my plot twist recommendations, and the plot twist in this again will probably divide people. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, honestly. I think the ending was a touch unrealistic, but I mean, aren't they all? I see this so much across the thriller space of people going, that was so unrealistic, like I can't rate that a 5, like that would never happen. And I'm like, it's literally fiction, like it is literally fiction. So again, absolutely loved this one. It gave it a 4.5. Definitely would recommend it. I'm also in the process of reading this author's backlist to rank them for you, but this is my favourite at the moment. Next up is another plot twist classic. If you haven't read this one yet, don't know what to say to you. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden definitely delivers on the twist. Of course, Frida McFadden is slightly controversial in how mainstream her thrillers are, and the writing has been described as basic and the concepts are relatively basic. I will agree with you on that, but you can't lie, like this woman knows how to serve a twist and a double twist and a triple twist. Like she serves all the twists. So this follows Millie, who is an ex-con. She has recently been released from prison and she's looking for a job, and of course there isn't that many jobs that you can get after being a con. So she goes to this really wealthy family called the Winchesters who are advertising for a live-in nanny position, and she manages to get an interview. She goes for the job and she's thinking, like, this house is incredible and it's a live-in nanny position. So she's just like really excited, but she thinks surely they're not going to give it to me, and they do. So she moves in and she's being put up in this attic room, and she's thinking there are so many guest bedrooms in this place, like why am I in this dingy attic? And then to make it even worse, there is a lock from the outside, and she's like, I'm literally being gaslit. And then the story goes from there. So it's Nina Winchester, Andrew the husband, and then you've got Cece, the little girl who she is looking after, and these characters are all just, I don't even know how to describe them. The writing is so easy to read. I would just highly recommend reading this book, even if not for the plot twists, which there are a lot. It is a really good book, I have to say. Even as a seasoned thriller reader, I did enjoy it. Like, it's just good. It's just good. Shot for every time I say good. Next up is She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica, and I really enjoyed this. This is the second book by this author that I read. I have read Local Woman Missing, which probably had an equal number of plot twists that were incredible. I would definitely recommend that as well. I then went on to read this, and I literally just haven't stopped thinking about it. Like, I really like it. This book made me fall in love with this author. Local Woman Missing was good, but this was like 5-star. So this follows an ICU nurse and a patient who has been pushed or jumped from a bridge somewhere in Chicago. All Mary Kubica's books are set in Chicago, which I also really like. And she gets like really tangled into this patient's life. They are literally in a coma and obviously can't communicate, but somehow she gets wrapped up in the family, in the survivors, working out who has potentially tried to do the unaliving. I'm really trying to avoid spoilers here. I think this is one of those where you're just gonna have to trust me that this is good. I promise you it's good. Next is the second John Mars book to make this list, and it is You Killed Me First. I absolutely love this. I read it before it came out and I literally haven't stopped recommending it since. It is out now. It came out at the start of March, so you can of course get your hands on a copy, and it was brilliant. This was a twist that I've never seen John do before. I've seen other authors do it, not half as well as John Mars executed it. And this is another one that's just full of rich people drama. So it follows these three women in a really wealthy suburb. Everyone here is lying was like wealthy. These guys are wealthy. Like, they don't have to work. They don't have to do anything. They can just go to yoga and just do what they want all day. And they're like the definition of frenemies. Like, they're friends, but are they friends? Not really. So the book opens with one of them, you don't know which, in a burning bonfire and a phone ringing on her side, and you're thinking, yikes. Flashes back 10 months earlier to like the start of their story, and then you slowly work out who was in the bonfire, who's put them in the bonfire, and it's all very dramatic. And I loved in this that each chapter was like counting down to the bonfire, so it was like, here, 3 months before, etc., and it just like gets closer and closer, so you kind of know what you're aiming for, which I think was like a really good from a timeline perspective. And then the final twist itself, I would normally hate a twist like this, but John just pulled it off. Brilliant. And then the final book, number 15, again was actually on the shelf, so I forgot to get it, and it is Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. This was brilliant. This book only gets hate from people who did not finish it. If you finish this, you'll understand why it's so good. If you read like maybe 70% of this book and stopped reading, I would understand why you wouldn't love it, but please just finish it. Please just finish it. It was literally so good. It is slightly slower to start, I will give you that. Like, it's not as fast-paced as some of the other thriller books that I do recommend, but it's just brilliant. It's really good. It's set in winter, so probably a good one to read like in snowy season. It follows this couple who are snowed in this little cabin on like a weekend getaway. They think they start hearing noises and they're getting super paranoid, as you would. And then it's also told from a letter from each year of their marriage from the wife in the relationship, so you're getting like an insight into all of their years together as opposed to like just present day. And each letter has like the what do you even call that? So every year you're married, there's like a symbol. So like the first year is wood, apparently the 6th year is iron, and each of the letters like starts like that, which I think is really interesting. And they have a gift that is of that, but that's not really like an abnormal thing. That's just like I think something you do as part of your like wedding anniversaries. Clearly wouldn't know. But this was creepy. Ending paid off. Highly recommend it. Really like Alice Feeney. Just realised there is actually 2 of her books in this list, so that just kind of goes to show. So if you have read any books with a plot twist better than those, please tell me. I will go and read it immediately. Like, I love a plot twist. I feel like plot twists are what brings the book up at the end. If there isn't one, I'm kind of like, oh. I recently read The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia and absolutely loved it until like the 80% mark, and then it just kind of fell a little bit flat, and I thought if this had a really solid plot twist ending, it would have been a 5, and that is how I know this is where my priorities lie. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you next time.